dias, this is Kaypacha with the weekly Pele report for March 27th of 2019. What's going on out there? I just got home and I'm chilling out a little bit, but lots of work today, no time for the river. Gotta knock out this frickin' report. You may be able to relate with the moon in Capricorn. And she's coming along to square the sun today. I mean, thank God for a Venus sextile Uranus to chill that out a little bit. And then what we've got coming on here is that on tomorrow, Thursday, Mercury stations and goes direct. Hallelujah. You know, it's been 9 weeks in Pisces. Then conjunct, like I said in the last Pele report, conjunct Neptune, you know, like the whole frickin' week. Still coming back, okay, to conjunct with Neptune and the moon next Tuesday. So it's still going on. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And then on Friday, the moon goes into Aquarius. And, you know, after, of course, what you can see is I have a little different kind of a chart that I put out there. You may want to pause and look at that chart because it contains the north and south nodes of the planets. And you can see, and I'm going to talk about in today's report, okay, that we've got this whole thing going on. The moon conjunct the south node of the moon, conjunct Pluto, and, you know, that south node of the moon is conjunct Pluto really from, you know, March 24th to April 19th. Okay, that is in the exact same degree. Now, a lot of astrologers will give it more than 1 degree for a conjunction. So we can say that things are going on here for, you know, quite a number of months, actually. And even longer than that I'm going to be talking about is that you can see Pluto is conjunct its own south node. The last time that Pluto conjunct its own south node was in the year of 1770, the year of the Boston Massacre. I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that. And what else is going on? Speaking of massacres, Mars is at the last degree of Taurus, and by Saturday, Mars moves into Gemini. Yeah? That, along with, right, you know, Mercury stationing, you know, and Venus will soon be also moving into Pisces. We're going to have a little change of signs going on here. But look at these flowers. Oh yeah, baby. So, let me just find a cozy spot, look at the camera, and talk about all these aspects. All right, let's get while the getting is good. Shoo-wee! Do this, baby, before it gets too frickin' hot around here to breathe. Oh, man. So, yeah, this is, you know, I mean, I like to be positive and, you know, light and happy and everything. But at the same time, astrology is, you know, observation and correlation. Yeah, it is an art science. And so we need to really be looking at things very objectively. It's ruled by Uranus and Aquarius, kind of outside of good and evil, right and wrong, up and down, back and forth. And, you know, and it's about consciousness. Aquarius is about consciousness. So we've got, you know, Black Moon Lilith, actually. You can see her. She's in Aquarius right now, and she is at the midpoint, exact midpoint. She stations at 22 degrees Aquarius, at the midpoint between Jupiter and Eris. Jupiter in Sag, Eris in Aries over there with the midpoint. I don't want to get it too much into midpoints. Now today I'm going to talk about, you know, planetary nodes. Again, I have a community, an online community, that I delve much more deeply into all of these things. I've started, actually. It's called the Discussions Regarding a New Paradigm. After kind of getting, you know, some feedback on the Pele report, I've decided to just kind of do some private videos regarding different aspects and elements of our socio-cultural religious conditioning these days as we close an old paradigm. As Jupiter and Saturn approach Pluto in a balsamic phase, as now the south node of the moon is conjuncting Pluto for the next couple of months, and then Saturn coming up to approach Pluto and station just before touching. This is the 2019, this is intense. Yeah, and we need to deal with intensity. I think of the Fool card. You know, it's like the Fool card is, you know, 0. It's the first card of the tarot. It's the very beginning. And in the Rider deck, the Fool is just walking along, off the side of a cliff. It kind of symbolizes Pisces moving into Aries, right where Chiron is, right where the sun just was. But now the sun is fully into Aries. Let's start some wars. I mean, you can see it happening. Yes, this is a very powerful time of the warrior. And when we have suppressed warrior, it leads to anger and rage, the distorted masculine energy, which is what Chiron is going to be healing over the next 8 years. And we are obviously going to see that wounded masculine acting in outrageous, ridiculous ways, painful, harmful, violent ways, yes, that we may see what needs to be healed. You know, the surgeon needs to go in and find the cancer. You need to open the wound and to cleanse, purify, and pull it out. We need to look into the dark and not avoid. So it becomes kind of the end of innocence. And this Mercury conjunct Neptune, okay, in Pisces, can deal with innocence, escapism, denial, avoidance. I was thinking about it, you know, it's like you speed past the slaughterhouse, you know, if you even know where a slaughterhouse is, right? You know, maybe you turn up the music when you hear an ambulance go by or something, you know. You know, I mean, you know, you try to fart in silence or whatever. You know, we look at, you know, the death. I was actually at my mother's deathbed, and, you know, those final moments and her last breath was very disturbing. Death, endings, decomposition, maggots, okay, worms, all these things that have to do, okay, flies and smells and fungus. And, you know, these are the, you know, this is also ruled by Pisces, the sewers. It's the collective unconscious where things get thrown and dumped and hidden away for thousands and thousands of years. Like I say, you know, now this, the south node of Pluto, okay, entered Capricorn around the year 500, right? And it's going to stay there until 2760. It's over 2,000 years in a sign. It lines up almost with, you know, the 26,000 year cycle of the precession of the equinoxes. We're dealing with ancient, old, you know, violences, you know, came with the patriarchy, if not before, right? I mean, death obviously came before. Death came along with life. This is the yin and the yang, the light and the dark. We are in a binary third-dimensional reality. You know, ready or not, like it or not. And it is kind of this end of innocence where, yes, you know, I could be this, I could be that. You know, the child dreams and fantasizes and, you know, and hopes and wishes and da-da-da-da-da, you know, in this state of innocence. And so we could return to that innocence. And what are we doing now? What are the statistics, babe? There's an opioid epidemic in the United States. The last study I read was that suicide has risen 30%. 30% in the last number of years. This is escape. This is out. This is, I don't like the pain. I don't want to look at the dirt, the ugliness, the dark, the death. I don't want to just, I want to just numb out. This can be with the cannabis. This can be with, you know, anything. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, baby. But I'm telling you, 2019 and 2020, we're going to be facing, we're going to be hearing, okay, you know, if it's not to ourselves personally, it's going to be to our friends or our family members or our country or people that we know or da-da-da-da-da-da. You know, I mean, we are looking at, this is what, okay, I mean, and you know, I don't like this mantra. You know, I know a bunch of you are going to give me a hard time for the mantra, you know, because I'm usually light and positive and fun, you know, but, you know, I got to suck it up. I was given this mantra. I woke up this morning with this mantra and I'm like, oh no. Oh no, this is not where I want to go, right? And yet, let's look at it a little more closely. Bile. Bile is, first of all, what is it? It's made in the frickin' liver. Now, the liver has always been the seat of the soul. Very interesting that spirit would choose bile. And what does bile do? Bile actually assists in the digestion of fats. Very interesting. Yes, it is smelly, stinky, and it's acidy, and it, you know, it's like, I think if you get it on your skin, it hurts or whatever. It's just like, you know, it burns. But it comes from the soul and digests the fats. We want to look at this closely as that south node, okay, you know, crosses over Pluto. The south node of the moon, you know, we enter, souls enter at the eclipses, right? At the eclipses is, you know, tied in with the moon's nodes. Every 6 months, the group of souls that's coming in comes in at the eclipse when the portal is open, the gate is open. That's why eclipses are associated with this chaos, particularly K2, the south node of the moon, where we enter, where we come in. It's a portal, it's a gateway, and now, for the next couple of months, it's conjunct Pluto, hell, the underworld, the god of darkness. So this is a time period, okay, and I'm only giving it 1 degree, like I said. We got to say, you know, for sure, January to September. The south node is moving, okay, you know, and Pluto is coming to its own south node. It's conjunct its own south node. And then we have the south node of Saturn also there, going to go retrograde and conjunct the south node of Pluto, okay, I think it's September 5th. So not only do we have the planet Saturn conjuncting Pluto, we have the south node of Saturn conjuncting the south node of Pluto. I mean, whoa, baby. This is not just some 30, 40, 50, 80-year cycle. These are the ghosts of the past coming up from hell, from the underworld, from being suppressed and showing themselves. Pandora's box opens. And we can run and we can hide and we can scream and we could fight, or we could just enter the war, whatever. But I want to bring in the song of redemption, baby. Ow! Bob Marley. I got the definition of redemption right here. To free from captivity by payment of ransom. To extricate from or help to overcome something detrimental. To release from blame or debt. Clear. To free from the consequences of sin. Remember, sin comes from the root word error. To change for the better. Reform, repair, restore, redeem, retrograde Mercury.
And yeah, Pluto and Saturn, of course, the nodes. Anyway, I'm not going to get into retrogrades. There's enough retrogrades going on. Now, so this redemption, it's necessary, like we say, to heal the cancer. The doctor goes in and has to find it, has to see it, okay, has to be exposed to it. And then we go back and we look at what happened. The Boston Massacre happened in 1770, the last time that Pluto conjuncted its own south node. And the Boston Massacre led to the American Revolution. Look at the outcome. I know there's these massacres going on in some of these schools, okay, have started and built and won legislation, okay, to reform the gun laws. History shows numerous times. I think of Gandhi. I'm studying Gandhi's chart now because I'm presenting it, in this online course that we're offering. And he got shoved off the train, okay, in South Africa, right? He was, well, not shoved off, but he was knocked out of first class or whatever, He was dressed nice. He always dressed impeccably. He was a lawyer. And he went to South Africa and they shoved him because he's an Indian. He didn't get to sit in the first class with the white folks. And that stirred, that was almost like the beginning of his just a minute. We've got to do something about this situation. So we can check out, we can numb, we can try to avoid or escape, but we incarnated now to bring in the new paradigm now, to bring in the age of Aquarius now. And it's not done by hiding under the couch, baby. Dang. I was going to change. I actually had the last line of the mantra was going to be, look the devil in the eye. Didn't quite rhyme with bile, and it's not really what came through. But, there was this whole, I play with the mantras a little bit, but yeah. Here's a big thing. What's the degree of the south node of the moon, conjunct Pluto, for 2 months? Yes, March and April at least. Let's look at the Sabian symbol for the 24th degree, right, of Capricorn. Of course, you all know, I read out of Dane's book all the time, yeah, but it is a woman entering a convent. A convent is a place made available by a community which believes in the possibility of reaching a world-transcending state of consciousness. It's made available to individuals who may be variously motivated. Some may be trying to escape the intolerable pressures of family and society. To others, it represents the possibility of pursuing in peace a spiritual ideal to which the whole being aspires and is totally dedicated. The important point in this phase of the cyclic process is that the existence of a convent expresses another aspect of the relationship between the society and the individual. Yeah? And he goes on a little bit. In the old Hindu society, dominated by a rigid caste system, the ideal embodiment in the sannyasi, the wandering holy man or yogi, meditating in a forest or a cave, who had entirely given up all that caste implied, was seen to be the very culmination of the social process. So in this fourth stage symbol, we see the paradoxical nature of the social process operating more strongly than ever. This derives from the fact that man's nature contains in seed the possibility of overcoming and transcending itself. In acts of complete denials and of surrender to a higher law or quality of being. All spiritual techniques are indeed paradoxical. Rigid discipline conditions pure inner freedom. The final goal is the attainment of transcendent security. Ow! Dane frickin' nails it every time, man. Capricorn, Saturn, discipline, strong, rigid. Yeah? I mean, last week I talked about having a daily practice, right? You know, this is the time where we need to go in and just make a convent inside your own self. Yeah, make a place inside yourself. Make a space and time in your life to reach transcendent states of consciousness and step outside of all this chaos in order that we redeem, that from that place of seeing, of knowing, we open the heart in a compassionate understanding, and we return and we dive into. We not only protect that inner child, we protect the next 7 generations. We establish a socio-cultural reality, a new paradigm that is safe for women and children. A massacre is not just a battle or war. It's when women and children, yes, are also, not to, and you know, women and children, I want to just say the innocent, okay, you know, the bystanders, you know, the ones that are most vulnerable, most sensitive. These are the water signs, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. These are the sensitive, emotional, you know, bodies and souls here. And the north node of the moon in Cancer is like, yes, we need to be aware of and awake to our own inner child and the children coming, the future, basically. So the mantra for this week, yes? As the gates of hell are opened, spilling forth its bile, I summon forth the light within to protect the inner child. So, like I say, this time period, you know, I'm looking for some good news, but actually I did find that the happiest country is Finland. And I'm going to Finland. I'm going to go to the happiest country in 2019. I'm doing a whole Northern European tour thing. I'm actually going to be in Denmark and It's very interesting. These Northern European countries all range up there on the happiest countries thing. Even though I understand there's also a high suicide rate in some of those countries too. So, but how do you measure happiness? They have their own standards. There is just this paradox. Life is a paradox. Planet Earth is a paradox. A paradox is moving outside the third dimension. And I also thought about it, as long as I'm on a rant today. We're always talking about the fourth dimension, the fifth dimension, the sixth dimension. Yeah. How about the frickin' second dimension and the first dimension? They don't disappear, baby. We all coexist. The flat line and the point. First dimension is the point. Second is the flat line. The third, you get depth, right? The fourth is time. The fifth is anyway. But, you know, all I'm saying is we could look at the dense, Ahrimanic, you know, evil forces of the devil or the darkness or hell coming up. But we are to rise up, sweet family. So one more time, I better stop now. Song of freedom's all I ever had. So, as the gates of hell are opened, spilling forth its bile, I summon up the light within to protect the inner child. May you summon it up, baby. Namaste. Aloha. So much love.